Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. On today's episode, let's look at using the new Spotlight search in Yosemite. So Spotlight search in Yosemite retains all the features of Spotlight menu in Mavericks earlier, and it works in a similar way. You click on the icon here, except now it appears in the middle of the screen instead of the upper right. And you can do all the same things you did before. When you do a search, it will return all sorts of various results from your files and folders and other things on your computer's hard drive, but also it will return some different types of results as well. We'll look at files later on, but for now let's concentrate on some of the new features. So if you search for something like, say, a movie, you're going to get movie times. And this is just like in iOS 8. You're going to get the same kind of information there. Theaters nearby, what times it's playing, that kind of thing. Notice a few other things here. You're also going to get music on iTunes. So here's an album on iTunes that matches. And you're going to get Wikipedia entries. And you also get, this was for rent on iTunes or for purchase, you'd get that as well. So you can see here movies on iTunes. You can also get suggested websites. You're going to get dictionary definitions for everything. And you're going to get just other kind of web search results as well. You can also search for books. And of course it will bring up the books that you have. But it will also search the iBookstore for books and audiobooks on iTunes as well. And then you can also search for apps. And it will come up with apps that match the name in the Mac App Store. Now Spotlight Search is linked in with the Maps app, and you can actually search for locations and it will give you map and information just as if you were looking for it in the Maps app. And you can simply hit return or double click here and it will open up the Maps app, or you can go right to directions. You can scroll down this list to see pictures, reviews, all sorts of things. It works great for restaurants as well. And you can see here and see the reviews, even jump to the website for some of these and see hours and prices and reviews in Yelp. As before, you can also perform math in Spotlight Search. So you can just type in something like that and get a simple result there. But you can also use very complex things that make it even more powerful than using the basic calculator. So you can use those parentheses to find things like that. You can add little functions like square root. You can also do two different types of conversions with Spotlight. First is that you can do measurements. So for instance, if you type 200 miles, you're going to get a list here that tells you how many meters, yards, feet, inches that is. And you can do that with all sorts of different types of measurements. So like 60 degrees Fahrenheit will convert to Celsius, even kelvins. And this is a big one for me. Remind you how many cups are in a gallon here. So I can see that it's 16 cups a gallon, 32 cups for 2 gallons. And then it gives you metric conversions and things like that. Also you can do acres, which is also difficult for a lot of people to convert here, and you can get square miles, which most people understand better. You can also do some quick currency conversions. You can either type in something like that and get euros, pounds, yen, and a few other things. And you can also do dollar symbol as well, or you can do the other way around. Now let's look at searching for files. So search for files, you would start typing any text, and it's going to look for that in the file name. It's going to look for it inside the contents of the file, and you're going to see it here. And when you look at these documents, and it'll divide it up into different types of documents and folders and things like that, you can do several different things. One is that you can hold the command key down and you'll see the path information appears here at the bottom right. So that gives you a little more information about the file that you've selected. So for instance, if I were to arrow down to here, I can see where that one is. I can see where that one is. You can also, if you want to view any of these files and just go right to it, you can select it. I'm using the arrow key there, but you can click on it too, and you can do Command R and it will take you to the file rather than double clicking on it to open. And then you also get this preview here on the right that shows you what's in the file. So there's a lot here that you can see in the preview. It'll show you PDFs, it'll show you images, it'll show you stuff inside of text files as well. Now you can narrow down a search with all sorts of different tricks here. So for instance, if I search for another test, I'll get files that have that as the name, but I'll also get files that have that as contents. So let me try something different. Let me try searching for name another, and I'm only going to get files that have that in the name. I can also add more to it. So now only files that have another and test in the name. I can use or, got to use capitals, and it will give me basically any files that either have another or have test in the name. Now you can also use kind to identify a type of file. So for instance, let's do test and then kind image, and I'll only get images as results. I can also use other things, like for instance I can use a minus here. So let's do test another, and you can see I'm going to get things that match both of them. Let me subtract test from that and I'll only get things with other, and I can combine that with name. So here I only get my one file that has the word another in the name but not the word test because I'm using the minus symbol there. I can even use date as part of the criteria. So let's search for an image, and let's say we want it to be a date, and I can use a specific date like today, and I'll get images that have that date. I could also use things like less than, equal to. So I can do a date like that and I'll get something else. And I can do all sorts of different things. I can even use things like today to get results, and yesterday of course as well. And if searching for things like appointments on my calendar, I can actually use date tomorrow. And now let me show you the top reason to use Spotlight Search, and that is an application launcher. You just start typing the name of an application and it will usually find it within a few characters. It has it as the top hit there, and you just need to hit return. You never even have to use your trackpad or mouse, and it will launch the app. It's very easy to do. I use it to launch all my applications, even ones that are in the dock, even ones that are already running. I find it so easy to do command space, bring it up, and start typing something, and then hit return to bring up that app. Finally, we should take a look in System Preferences and see how we can modify Spotlight Search. I'm going to do that by using Spotlight Search itself. Command space. I'm going to start searching for Spotlight, and it will bring up, you can see there, the top hit is a System Preference pane. So I just hit return and it goes right to System Preferences, right to Spotlight. So now I've got search results here, and I could check and uncheck anything I want. So if I don't want all of those suggestions like movies, times, things like that, I can turn that off very easily here. I can turn off any other kind of thing I wanted to search for. If I don't want reminders and events or something like that, or bookmarks and history, music, whatever, I can turn it off. I can also change the order of things. So I can have, for instance, calculator, bring that up there, and move things around, and this will affect what is the top hit and also what order I see things in. I can also change the keyboard shortcuts for things very easily, and I can go to privacy here, and privacy allows me to add file things like folders, hard drives, anything to this list here, and it will no longer search for files in those things. So I have an external hard drive here that has lots of old material. I don't want it to search that, and I don't want it to give me those results, so I've added that. If you've got a folder that has a whole bunch of stuff that's always showing up, and you don't ever really want it to show up in Spotlight Search, you can add that here as well, hitting the plus button and then navigating to that folder or that drive and adding it here. And you can very easily select one and remove it later as well.